Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is Fame with Tiffany Renee. Here on this channel, we talk about everything metaphysics, quantum physics, spirituality, all the stuff about the universe, universal laws, about who we are, and how to navigate through this 3D reality. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, click the bell icon so you're notified when I post new videos. If you are interested in working with me, doing intuitive coaching, or doing my intuition workshop, which we have already finished the first week, the next week starts on Tuesday. Feel free to click on the link in the description box below. You can pay for it in full. There's payments you can make to make it easier. Just in case you do want to join, we're having a lot of fun and people are having some real amazing moments. So feel free. I have ebooks as well that you can download. All of that is on my website. Now, let's get into this video. Okay, as you can see, the topic is about how do I know if I'm awake? Now, trigger warning as well, but I also want to have a disclaimer here because I am not in any way, shape, or form going to tell you what is right or what isn't, because that's for you to decide. Okay, I am not going to, I'm not trashing anybody's process. There's no judgment, there's no condemnation, there's none of that. I am simply asking this question because I had to ask myself this question, because it was illuminating. It was an illuminating question. And there's this amazing documentary or film on Amazon Prime called Inner Worlds, Outer Worlds. And it's probably hands down one of the best type of films about the spirit and consciousness, if you're really into consciousness, that I've ever seen. And I've watched a lot. Okay. It is so insightful. It doesn't matter what religion you are, what your beliefs are. It's all mentioned in this. It's so amazing. And there was there's a YouTube channel, and he's a monk, and his name is Nick, and he's also very insightful, and he also poses really interesting questions from a Buddhist perspective. But this question came up where in the documentary, the Buddha was asked, "Who are you?" And the Buddha replied, "I am awake." Now, according to their philosophy, to be awake is to be without suffering. That is when you're awake. And I want to talk about that. First of all, I just need to take that in again. Woo! To be without suffering. That's what it means to be awake. And I want to talk about it because, for the last couple of years, there's been, maybe the last few years actually, there was what some people called the hashtag the woke movement, where everything was, hashtag woke, hashtag wake up, hashtag I'm awake, hashtag I'm enlightened, hashtag et cetera, right? Bless, There was always something that felt a tad bit like something was missing for me. This is my own personal experience, okay? Like there was something missing from many people who declare this, and I couldn't figure out what it was, because it's a beautiful thing, to feel like you're illuminated and you're enlightened and you're growing in your knowledge and your spirituality, and you're garnering wisdom and divine wisdom at that. And you're kind of able to, see past the veil, or, read between the lines about a lot of things. But there was still an underlying current that I guess, didn't quite sit right with me. And I did not know why, because I'm like, this is cool. Like, what is this is wonderful. This is kind of what the goal is, for people to be more, you know, aware, more awakened, more, isn't that the purpose? So like, what is this that I'm feeling? And I realized that, there would be certain people, whether they were very, very famous, that had, like, tons of followers and stuff like that, and they were posting things, especially on social media. They would post things, or if it was people who were kind of newer, and they were just posting things, or if they, had been following conspiracies and going down the rabbit hole, and, discovering this and discovering that, or whatever the case may be, I found that there was a common thread. And the common thread that I became aware of is, like, so many people, I don't want to say everybody, but a lot of the people who I found, or who I came across, they carried an underlining tone of fear and doubt. Anything, from my teachings, my understanding, anything that leads with fear, or that carries a fear undertone, or a foundation in fear, if fear is the reason why you're digging, or if fear is the response that you decided to have about this information, then you've just created suffering. Because fear causes suffering. Fear creates doubt. It creates uncertainty. It creates insecurity. And it will cause you to spiral. And then law of attraction is going to pick up on that energy. And it's going to give you more evidence that's going to cause you to spiral even more. You can't be awake and still dwell in the pool of fear. That is what I understood from the Buddhist teachings. Anything that will cause you internal suffering, I don't mean external, because, again, to quote Vadim Zeland, and Tom Karen also quotes this all the time as well, there is no out there out there. There is nothing out there. If you witness something that is out there, or if you perceive something that is out there, it is because it is being projected out there through our conscious mind. Our thoughts, our expectations, our beliefs, they are creating 3D images and experiences. And then our five senses and our emotions make us aware. It appears to be real and tangible. There is no out there out there. That is why so many religious doctrine mention the kingdom of heaven is within, or as above, so below, or I believe in the Christian faith, there's a Bible quote that says, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." So it's whatever you say, that's what it is. Whatever you define something, that's what it is. Whatever you expect, then that's what it's going to be. And Brian Scott said it beautifully from the Reality Revolution. He had a beautiful lecture called Inner Conversation. Feel free to check that out. And he said, which was so beautifully said, I was like, oh, that's amazing. All of your experiences happen because you are in alignment with the expectation. That's what reality is. It is a 3D, tangible experience that shows up as a result of our own alignment with what we expect to happen, what we expect to be there, what we expect these people to do, what we expect that country to do, what we expect our spouses and our significant others to do, how we expect our bosses to react, and how we expect our coworkers to be. If you are expecting something, you're in vibrational alignment with that expectation, and you are only going to get evidence to support what you already expect to be true. So, if someone says that they're awake, like I'm woke, okay? I'm trying to choose my words very carefully because I'm not poo-pooing on anyone's perspective, because all perspectives are valid, because all possibilities exist simultaneously. Like, quantum physics has taught us that. But if you are not leading from that place of knowing, if you're not leading with, okay, I'm seeing something in my reality, I'm physically witnessing something in my 3D reality, and I'm feeling badly about it, so it's therefore not resonating with me. What am I feeling? What's going on with me that is causing this to be projected out through me? How is it that I'm witnessing this? What is it about me that is attracting this? What am I expecting? Am I expecting to find more negativity about a group of people? Well, why would you be expecting it? Because you heard some negative things about this group of people already, and you accepted those things to be true. So therefore, it became a belief. And now, anything this group of people does, you expect is from a place of negativity. So therefore, anything that you seek, law of attraction is going to make sure that the only evidence that is provided to you is pure confirmation bias. It's just giving you evidence to support what you already expect and decided is true about this group of people in the first place. You're not getting the truth. You're not getting the actual truth, which is it doesn't exist anyway. The real truth is it's your perception that's making it true. You're not getting that truth because you can't receive that truth. And you can't receive that truth because you are already telling a different version of the truth, which is your version of your truth, that is, this group of people is negative. I've already decided that. So because you've already decided that this group of people is negative, you're only looking for things to confirm the negativity of these people, and law of attraction will make sure that you find it. Because that is how the universe works. We are extensions of consciousness. All wisdom and all information is available to us at any given time. We can't be separate from it. We can't be separate from each other. There is no separation, and there is no out there. Anything that you see out there with your eyes is because you see it in here first, and it materializes. Whatever you expect, it shows up. So if that is not your foundation, then anything besides that will cause you to suffer. It will create suffering. You become over analytical. You become judgmental. You'll start condemning. You will refuse to accept an opposing opinion because in your mind, your opinion is the truth, or you will only be willing to accept research that you yourself have found that coincides with what it is that you're trying to prove, and you're going to completely disregard any other possibility. You will live in confirmation bias. You will be in an echo chamber You are only going to want to deal with people and environments that mirror back to you what you already decided is true. You're only going to find things on television, on social media, that mirror back to you what you already think is true for you. Remember, it's for you. It's not for everybody. Your truth is not everybody's truth. Your perception of what you think the truth is not everybody's perception. Because no one sees the world the same, because no one is living on the same world. That's just creation. That's how creation was. That's how creation was created. Okay, another example, which I experienced this in my own personal life with somebody who I knew. They were of a particular religious background. Now, it was a denomination of Christianity. Solid background, okay? That is their foundation. They grew up in it. You know, they weren't super religious, but there was no other religion besides Christianity or a denomination of it. Like maybe even like Jehovah's Witness and things like that. But it all stemmed from the Bible is the book that is the law, and you know, Jesus is their savior, et cetera, et cetera. That was still the foundational premise. Now, this person wanted to elevate, wanted to grow, and they wanted to learn more about about spirituality and about, you know, their existence, et cetera, et cetera. But here's the thing. This person was kind of only willing to research and study within the confines of what she already believed to be true from her original Christian foundation. She might dip her toe in, like, you know, metaphysics or something like that, just a little bit, but it would never veer off from the comfort of her Christian foundation. Do you see what I mean? If she couldn't somehow tie it back to her Christian foundation, then it was kind of like, I can't really get with that. I can't really research that. I don't want to know about that, or I don't, et cetera, et cetera. Now, me, I was born into a Christian family, but then when I was 8 years old, I moved to Saudi Arabia, and then I was converted to Islam, and so I was raised as a Muslim in the East until, you know, I came back. I was 16, you know, and majority of my practices, the ones that I still do, are from an Islamic base. So my core foundation is an Islamic foundation. And I can understand, because Islam is, you know, was a pretty strict, you know, religion, especially, you know, when I was growing up. And, you know, my dad was really strict about it, et cetera, et cetera. But as I got older, and things started shifting inside of me, where more questions I had, and I was seeking more answers and my own truth, because I felt tormented inside. I just felt like there was more than what I was being taught. Not denouncing Islam whatsoever. Like, it's a beautiful religion. It's done so much for me. It's helped me so much in my life. But I'm saying that I felt like there was something else that I wasn't, so like something was missing. Like there was another big piece of this puzzle that I just could not find. And so in 2012, I learned about law of attraction from a former friend of mine. And I started trying to, you know, go into manifestation and trying to, you know, understand it more, understand energy, like what energy, frequency, vibration, what the heck is all that, whatever. This is nothing about what I was taught, what I was raised to believe to be true, but okay, whatever. But in 2016, I had a little part-time job where I was barely making any money. I couldn't afford to get my own place because I was only making $10 an hour part-time at that time. I was living with a friend, renting out her bedroom, and I was just at my wit's end. I was depressed. I was struggling with anxiety. I was just going through like the worst time. And I kept trying to lean, into faith, and, religion and all this type of stuff. And I still felt like I was just going to, it's like, I don't even want to be here no more. Like, I don't even want to be on this planet anymore. Like, just beat me up, Scotty. Like, I'm done. I'm done living this life. No, I'm done. And so I stood in the middle of the room that I was in, and I cried and I cried and I cried, and I just called out. And I'm like, okay, whatever you are, whatever you are, whatever you want me to call you, okay, whatever, higher power, whatever you are, okay, whether you're Yahweh, Jehovah, Allah, God, Jesus, like whoever you are, show me who you are. Tell me what to do. Tell me what to call you, and I'll call you it. Tell me what to follow, and I'll follow it. If there's a specific religion that you want me to follow, tell me what it is, and I'll go do it. I'm just going to drop every single thing that I've ever been taught in my life about God, about people, about life, about the afterlife, about every single thing that I think that I know, that I've been believing for so many years. I was like in my mid 30s by that time. Like, I'm dropping it all. I am letting it all go. And, or I think I was maybe like, I don't know, 33, 34, something like that. I'm like, I'm dropping it. I'm letting it all go. I don't want it no more. Wiping the slate clean. Okay, God, you tell me, show me what the truth is. Because I'm just dropped everything. I don't care. Break the foundation. Take the sledgehammer and break whatever foundation that I had. I'm done with it. Let's start over. Show me what the truth is. By me doing that, literally, a few minutes later, I felt better. I got on YouTube and I discovered cognitive dissonance. So random. But I was so intrigued by it because it explained how the mind worked, like how we rationalize things to try to justify doing them so we don't have to change. And I was like, this is so interesting. Because we're creatures of habit. The ego doesn't like to change. It's all about self-preservation, and it doesn't like to change anything. It likes predictability. So if it can continue to predict what you believe, how you're going to react, how you're going to respond to certain things, how certain people are going to act, whatever, it feels safer because there's no fear of the unknown, so to speak. So cognitive dissonance, it will talk you out of all kinds of stuff. It will justify so many things. It'll justify you staying in that abusive relationship. It'll justify you staying in toxic friendships. It'll justify you staying at toxic jobs. It'll justify you condemning yourself and beating up on yourself. And it'll justify you feeling like you have to compete for everything. And it'll justify you believing that you're less than, and that you always have to work harder than everyone else to get ahead in life. It will have you believing all kinds of things. And it will justify those beliefs to solidify them, just so you don't have to change, just so you don't have to say, stop. This ain't it. Just so you don't have to stop and challenge those thoughts, your cognitive dissonance will jump in every single time to try to justify it. So you don't have to change. So you decide, okay, you know what? Nah, I don't have to change this after all. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what came to me. That was it popped up on my YouTube feed. I've never looked up cognitive dissonance in my life. I didn't even know what the heck it was. In the recommended list on the side, Neale Donald Walsch, Conversations with God, Book 1. It was a really short, maybe 10 or 15-minute excerpt. My intuition said to click on it. I clicked on it. I listened to those first few minutes. I was bawling my eyes out because this author, Neale Donald Walsch, who is absolutely incredible, was having an actual conversation with God. Google him and Google how it happened. It is so fascinating. It was literally like a channeled message, and I'm going to come back to that. Um, he had a divine channeled message, and he was at his wit's end. He had a broken neck. He was broke. He was sleeping on the couch. He was mad. He had lost his wife, lost his job, and he just had everything to be mad about. And he wrote an angry letter to God, but then he couldn't lift his hand up off the paper. And then he thought he was going crazy because he started hearing a voice that it wasn't his. And he started talking back. And then it was like a question and answer dialogue. Next thing he knew, he had a whole dialogue, and he was just writing the question and writing the answer, writing the question and writing the answer on his legal pad. And he just kept writing and writing and writing. And he ended up writing like 3 books, 3 volumes, along with other books that are incredibly famous, like millions have been sold. But I listened to that and I was crying because I'm like, man, this dude is exactly where I'm at. And he was asking the questions that I was asking, the why questions, the well, why this and why that and how come and how come. And God was answering all these questions. But one thing that he said that was so profound, because Neil Donald Walsh came from a more of a Christian background, I guess you could say, and he was asking these questions and saying, well, it says here in the Bible, and then it says this, and then you said this, and you told us this, and God said to Neil, I cannot tell you my truth until you stop telling me yours. After I heard that, I was like, oh, okay, I got it. I get it. I get it now. That was my aha moment. That was my moment when I felt like, okay, the new journey begins now. Because I realized that I had been so busy putting conditions on God, putting assumptions on God, putting human characteristics on the very unhuman, completely supernatural energy source of pure consciousness and creation of all things that we can see and that we can't see in this world and in other worlds and in other universes. I was putting human characteristics on that, daring to think that because I can get angry, then this source, the pure source of unconditional love that I call God, can get angry too. Or if people can punish me, then God can punish me. Or if I feel negatively about somebody, then God would also feel that way. Like I realized I was putting very similar characteristics on God, which created nothing but limitation, mind you. It just created a very limited version of God to me. I treated God like my parents. And I don't have the best relationship with my parents, and I didn't have the best childhood either. But I treated God like my parents. I had to do so much work to try to to please my parents, to try to earn my love, earn praise, and try to be the good girl, and so I don't get in trouble, so I don't keep getting punished, and all these things and stuff like that. And I realized that I looked at God that exact same way. Like I had to keep doing something in order to receive something. You don't have to do anything. I realized I don't have to do anything. Just by me existing, that's enough. I already have everything because I'm an extension of that consciousness. I'm an extension of that creator. I am the extension of the all, the unconditional love that is God. I am an extension of that. There was nothing more I have to do but to simply exist. God gave me all of the power, gave me my intuition, gave me the ability to think, to have discernment, to grow. God gave me a very curious mind that craves knowledge and wisdom. And through all of my trials and tribulations, wisdom has been gained. And it's like, how dare I put human attributes on something that I can't even wrap my head around? I can't even wrap my head around how grand the entity that we call God is. My human mind cannot even process the level of pure, unadulterated, unconditional love. There is nothing that we could possibly do, my personal opinion, based on my understanding, that will anger God. Because that will require emotions. Humans have emotions. We were given emotions as part of our guidance system. What does God need to be guided for? From what? God created us. That is my belief. And to me, that is the truth, is that we're all consciousness. We are all extensions of that consciousness. To me, that became my truth. And the more and more I've lived, I've been able to open myself up to believing that truth. Because there was a time when I could not, because of that foundation that I had. I was not willing to go outside the parameters of that foundation, not too far. But when I just let it all go, and I'm like, okay, you tell me, you show me your truth. Forget everything that I think is the truth. Forget everything I've been taught to be true. Forget all of that. Forget what I think I know. Tell me the truth. And that's when the real transformation started to happen for me. I cannot tell you my truth until you stop telling me yours. I'm not saying that I'm awake. I'm not claiming to be fully awake. I think I'm on the spectrum. I think most of us are on the spectrum of being awake. But I know I still suffer. I don't think I've reached full awakeness. I think I'm on the path. But because I still experience suffering, and I know the suffering is self-suffering, I still work every day to not judge, to not condemn, to not engage fear so much. Because when I do that, it messes with me up here. It causes suffering. And when it gets jacked up here, I get a jacked up 3D reality, suffering. So until I am in full enlightenment state where there is zero judgment, there is zero fear, because I understand that there is no good, there is no bad, there is only life. And to judge something means that we make a decision to witness it based on that decision. I've seen so many people who are self-proclaimed woke people who will put up a beautiful post about, self-love and beautiful affirmations and all of the, just a beautiful, beautiful post. And then the very next post is doom and gloom, doom and gloom, doom and gloom, doom and gloom, beware, beware, look out, they coming, right? And it's like, to me, that does not interpret to someone who is awake, because you've just created more suffering for yourself. I'm not saying you have to be uninformed. You can be very well informed and still not suffer. You can be very well informed and still understand that maybe distance needs to be put between you and someone else because you're no longer in vibrational alignment to them. Or as Brown and Bendy has beautifully said, when you are no longer compatible. That's your intuition or even your consciousness just saying, hey, you're not compatible here. This relationship is no longer serving you. This job is no longer serving you. Digging into this subject matter is no longer serving you. Trying to prove somebody wrong or trying to prove this group of people wrong is no longer serving you. Pushing against the current instead of swimming with the current, that swimming against the current is no longer serving you. Your spirit will tell you that. And it will say it in such a gentle way. It's not going to be from a place of fear, because there is no fear in consciousness. Your consciousness can't be afraid. Afraid of what? Fear doesn't exist. It exists in the mind of man. And actually, when it comes to fear and doubt, Neville Goddard, his teachings, has defined doubt and fear and all that as that being Satan. Like, that is the devil. When doubt creeps up, that's the devil. When fear starts to take over, that's the devil. That's how Neville Goddard has defined it. I think that's a very interesting perspective. I can see that. I can see how he has that interpretation. It doesn't not make sense. I can see that. I think that's valid. I'm not saying it is or isn't. I'm just saying that's valid. That's a valid perspective. Because look at what doubt does to us. Look at what fear does to us. It's definitely not divine. Because there is no fear. There is no fear in God. There is no fear in consciousness. Because consciousness has nothing to fear, because everything dwells within the all. All possibilities and all probabilities exist at the same time. So while we may be grappling and digging about one particular problem, thinking that this is so bad, we have to do something about this, but you're only seeing one quantum possibility out of almost infinite of that exact circumstance. When we can, all we have to do is just choose the outcome we would prefer to have. Choose it, say it, affirm it, no matter what it looks like, no matter what your senses and your reason is telling you, you've decided that it is something different. And you're going to look at that difference. You are only going to hold it in your mind's eye, a better outcome. And that better outcome is going to materialize, because everything that is not that is going to fall away. That is quantum physics. That is how the world works. We all do this all day, every day, for every single solitary thing in our existence. We just don't realize that we're doing it. And it happens so fast because some of us, we're just so used to seeing certain things, that expectation. We expect certain things. You get what you expect. Many times we expect things that are from a place of fear, that are fear-based, that are rooted in fear. We don't always like to admit that it's fear, because who likes to admit that they're afraid of something? But it's rooted in fear. If it's not rooted in faith and love, then it's rooted in fear. And so we all have those moments. And with that comes suffering. And the more you suffer, the more you pull yourself away from your awakening. I'm not saying it's easy. You can just ask any monk. They even still struggle with this sometimes. But when the Buddha went and sat under that tree for all that time, he achieved his own personal nirvana, his own awakening, because he became still. He became aware that he was pure consciousness and that he was connected to the all. When Jesus went out in the desert for 40 days and 40 nights for contemplation, same thing. When Muhammad was in the caves, same thing. Like when you know yourself, when you know who you are, and I don't mean the identity that we've assigned ourselves or that society has assigned and all the labels, bump all that, peel all that back. If you peel all of that away, you are left with your true essence, which is consciousness, which is pure love. There was no fear. There was no doubt. There was none of that. That is your true awakened self. That is what I'm striving to get to. That's what I'm striving to achieve. That. The ultimate self, the higher self, the true self. Because I want to experience being that version of me, instead of the version of me that still can dwell in fear and in doubt and create states of suffering for myself and for the world around me. Because if I'm feeling suffering inside, guess what? I'm reflecting suffering back out, and I'm going to witness suffering. Because that's how life works. And I want to bring it back around to messages, like channel messages again. The book, A Course in Miracles. Excellent book. Fabulous book. And her name escapes me, the author, but it is one of the most popular and one of the best books about the spirit, about who we are, about God. It is an incredible book. So many people have read it. So many of the spiritual teachers and manifestation coaches have read it. Tom Caron quotes it a lot on Be Something Wonderful. It is a phenomenal book. If you have not read A Course in Miracles, read it. Listen to the audiobook. It is amazing. There are so many incredible nuggets in that book. But fun facts, the author was an atheist. Okay. On the Gaia streaming service, there is a documentary, I believe it's called Channeling. It's like a series. And I believe it's in that one where they talk about her. She was like a professor of psychology, I think at Columbia University, and she was an atheist. She didn't believe in God. She didn't believe in the spirit, nothing. She believed in her mind and what her senses, her reason. She was an atheist. And one day she started, I think she was getting dreams, and she was getting this information coming through, and she didn't know what the heck it was. She knew it wasn't from her because it seemed too spiritual, too whatever, you know what I mean? And she's an atheist. She doesn't believe in any of that. So she told her coworker, and he said, well, start writing it down. Write down whatever you're hearing, whatever you can remember, and then bring me some of the pages. And so she did that. And she brought him some of the pages and some of the information that was coming through, and he read it and he was blown away. And he was like, this is incredible. This is profound information. And she was like, it's not coming from me. Like, it's not, these are not my thoughts. I have no idea where this information is coming from. And he advised her, hey, just go with it. Instead of trying to resist this information, because it looks like it's coming through to you, whether you want it or not. Instead of trying to resist it, go with it. Just go with it. And so she did. And she received this divine download information of this entire book. And it's incredible. I think there was like a revision, like some years later, where like more information came through and she like rearranged parts of it or something like that. But the fact that this woman was an atheist, did not believe in the spirituality in any capacity, and produced one of the most highly respected and incredible spiritual books on this planet, that should tell you, beautiful example of sometimes it's about the message and not the messenger. That is something else that I've learned on this journey to awakening, is that I cannot judge the messenger. If there is a message for me, or if I've been seeking something, or I've been asking something, or if I need a specific word to soothe me, or to give me an aha moment about something, or to give me an idea, I cannot judge how that message comes to me. I cannot put parameters on that information. Like, no. No. Because a lot of the time, if you're really being open and you don't mind stepping out of your comfort zone, which a lot of time is what it requires, for you to really get to an ultimate place of full awakening, you have to accept life in its totality. You have to accept the fact that you don't know everything, and everything that you believe to be true very well may not be true. You have to be at least open to the possibility that what if is not fully accurate? Maybe I'm only getting part of the truth. Is there more here? And am I willing to put my ego aside and say, okay, show me. If it's different, then it's different. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. If I'm partially right, then I'm partially right. Like, you have to be willing to drop, such a rigid hold on what you think the truth is, and be open to the messengers that might show up. Because sometimes it's not about the messenger, it's about the message, and it can show up to you in a multitude of ways that you would never think of. If there is a word that you need or something or an idea, you may be giving $1 to a homeless man who's living on the street, and he just may start spewing out something, thanking you and blessing you, and then he just might start talking. And your ego might say, okay, this man, he's homeless, he's probably on crack, whatever, take this $1 and just shut him out completely. But you may have just missed out on your incredible message that you needed to hear. But you shut it down because the messenger did not measure up to what you think the messenger of that message should look like, or the bringer of that message should look like, or in the format that the message should be brought to you. You can't pick and choose, because you can lose out on your messages. You could lose out on your blessings if you are so focused on what the messenger looks like, or the package in which the message comes, instead of the message itself. Receive the message. If it's for you, it's for you. I always say, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. If it's for you, it's for you. So be more open, be more aware, and that awareness and that mindfulness and that openness, that will get you more and more close to the ultimate awake status that many of us want to achieve. You can't get there from a place of fear. You can't get there from a place of suffering. You can't get there from doom scrolling. You can't get there from doom and gloom and chaos and mayhem and foolishness and thinking or getting it misconstrued that the mayhem and foolishness is the truth and the only truth and nothing but the truth, and therefore that is only one probability out of a gajillion probabilities. It is the 0.001% of actual reality that we can physically see and experience with our senses. That's a drop in the bucket of the all. There is so much more. There is so much more that we can't see. There's so much more than meets the eye. I know you've heard that a lot. So I pray that we all achieve a place of total awakening, and that it really transforms us and that it illuminates us. And I pray that the path is easy, effortless, with little resistance. And I pray that this journey continues to be a journey of discovery, self-love, life love, and that we truly understand who we really are, and that we truly connect with that consciousness, that spirit that dwells within us and through us and around us. And I pray that we are no longer ruled in any capacity by fear and doubt and judgment and separation. I hope this resonates with you. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. If you made it this far, thank you. I love you. I know it's a long video, but I've been wanting to talk about that for a while, but I wasn't sure because I don't want to offend anybody or anything like that. You know what I mean? So I was really fear. That's what it was. Fear prevented me from making this video before. So, but you know what? I pushed through the fear and here we are. Okay. I love you so much. Thank you. You're amazing. You're powerful. Your consciousness. You are unconditional love. We are created from that. And know it, bask in it, because that is the truth right there. That is the truth. You are amazing. You are light. You are love. You are consciousness, and you are infinite. Love you. Until next time, take care. Bye.